thing that I missed last
It
time.
also helps if I teach you not to, don't teach us on Thursday too. Yeah.
That gives me all weekend though to make
So
a,
that's with it.
yeah,
To an extent, yes and no.
Yeah, but we also have the fact that everybody's tired by Thursday.
Right.
We're like, we let it go.
no, I understand that too.
I actually get that. I don't get, so, I understand. I totally understand the fact of that.
So now, so remember my little stick person?
Yeah.
Let's draw it in here. Can't draw it. Here. So if you have your little stick person back here.
And you had half of the diameter to that.
Little stick person's got a tail.
I don't remember your stick person.
So if I remember, I said if it's a cutter is traveling, the cutter is always traveling away from the operator when you decide if you're in G41 or G42. So this is the operator, the little stick person. Think of it as a little dynamic thing on the brain side. And this cutter is on this side. So which one's which?
They're both going to 10 minutes.
Which code is which? We have G41 and G42. We just did G41, so you gotta know which one looks like
They
G41.
both have arrows pointing in the same direction, though.
Yeah, one's on the left, one's on the right.
It's more upside of the line. You think this is-
41 is on the left,
Yeah, you think, he just said this was 41 and this was 42. Right?
is my guess.
He actually guessed right.
Because it looks like
I
what
mean,
we just ran.
41, it's more like you're looking at your life, you see the little ways out, and you hit 42, you're like, oh man, how about to hit 50? That's how I'm gonna remember. It's an analogy that I understand in my mind.
I don't know how that picks up which side of the line you're on, unless it's just, is it because I drew the circles bigger here? How about now?
One's close and one's close. And his life just blew up.
There's no earth all over the
Yet people at work think I'm unapproachable. Can you believe that?
You got written up to that now?
Not yet. I've been trying.
I heard you say that 3 times now.
Oh.
You,
On. Oh, yeah.
unapproachable.
Unfortunately, people keep trying to approach me.
I've had the same thing said about me, Josh. Believe that?
I just always look for these people just.
Problem I ran into is, I can figure out the right answer to the problem faster than anyone else.
You know what I say.
He's just gonna write it down. So, I want to cut this center part out. And the book says that you have to use or your print says this is supposed to be G42. The whole concept behind this is to teach you guys the difference between 41 and 42. You hardly ever use G42 because we want to know everything. If you're cutting G42, it's usually conventional. But, so, which one do you want to cut first? We're going to cut this side with the G45.
You still don't go.
Let's see if you guys remember the last class, because this is a trick question, sort of.
Well,
You still don't go up or go in this way.
our print says to do it in G42.
On one side.
On
The
one
other side's
side.
supposed to be G45.
No, go to
So what's the question again?
So, I don't care which one we do first, how are we going to do it? I don't care about dimensions, I just care about how I
Don't,
Because you've got to start your cutter off and you've got to shut it off. But we can't do a Z move, so unless you stay down and go all the way around, you're going to have to pick up and go back.
right.
So do you remember from last class what I told you to do and not to do? So So if I want to start this in a G41, for the little stick person I just drew,
Yep, you're gonna want to,
I want my cutter on this side.
yep, you wanna come down to where your cutter is now and then go up.
So G41,
I know that's not the right one.
so if I have a G40, if you look at G41 in your book, and your little person's down here,
Right.
your G41 shows like this, because it's on the left side of the line. But I want my cutter to be like this. But I want to cut the G41, so what do I do? So if you're at the bottom, if it's on the right-hand side, what if I start at the top? Will it be on the right-hand side or the left-hand side? It'll be on the right side of the line, right?
Right.
So if you start up here and you're going this way, according to G41, travel this way, cutter on the left. Seems like you're up there looking down at it.
Right.
So this is what we want to do. We want to do a G41 from up here. So we call this go away. And we'll do this. So we have to step in to our cutter, to our line. So we're going to do something like this, and then we're going to come down like this, and then we're going to come back out.
Right.
So now how are we going to do the G42 over here? So if you
Yep.
had your cutter, we want our cutter on this side of the line. Where are we going to start to get our cutter on that side of the line?
You wanna start at the bottom where you drew that and go up, right?
But G42 is like this. On here, it says right side of the line, right? Does that look like that?
So you wanna start at the top, or
You go back up.
you wanna pick up, run it, Z positive, and go back up over your part, and then come back down?
So you want to go like this.
Right.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
So
Okay.
this right here is your G42.
The first pass, you go there.
And this over here is your G41. This will be your start point. This is where it's G40. Stop.
Go up, go down.
This is your G40. Stop. Make sense?
Oh, it did all the way to the last one.
Why?
So I did come down, you know this way.
You gotta
then
stay-
go back, come down, and go back and out.
Remember, you have to make a move to turn off your cutting on. This move here is to turn it off. Right here, right here. This move here is to turn it on.
Okay.
But if you go back to the big black corner on the back, how come big doors got inside and outside? You understand? I kind of like drawing it that way. It's for some other done it that way.
That actually makes sense, you know, maybe how we can,
Because what if I start drawing lines on top of each other, it doesn't make sense when I'm done. So now we know that's what we want to do. So sketch it on a piece of paper, keep it in your brain, because I've got to erase that. Or I'll just roll it up and we'll go on. I can roll that one up.
And then how, just the way you laid out, like, laying the
So now we've got all of our lines laid out. We know what we want to do. So now we're just gonna go get dimensions off the print to do that, okay? So I'm gonna I'll just scroll this one up, because I didn't screenshot this one. And then now, here we go, let's see. So, I have my drawing like this. I have my slot somewhere in here. That's what we want to do. We set our 241 that's going to start up here, come over, go down, come off the part, and come back over here, right?
Correct.
So the first thing I want to know is, from my 0, 0, where is this? Is X 0, Y 0 is in the middle.
So it should be 0.75.
No, it should be 0.7, so you want to do
Is that slot is
0.35.
center?
It's
So if the slot center, where's my 0, 0?
0.35, oh,
My 0, 0, Josh is right, my 0, 0 is right in the slot.
yeah.
So if the spot's 0.7 wide, then that means I've got 350 on both sides. Understand? So my X right here is going to be what?
Negative 350.
And my X over here is going to be 350, right? So now all we got to do is worry about our how far off we want to be when we make our little target, and then our Y. So if we have a 3/4 inch end mill, technically we only have to be like 800 thousandths off. And I can show you guys how to prove variant this with all this to that. So our part is,
And you don't want to do that with a 3/4 inch in the,
no, we use a 1/2 inch for this. You're right, it's a 3/4.
because otherwise it's going to be,
It's going to cut it
it's going to
way
be
big.
3/4 of an inch.
Yeah.
Yes.
We did a 1/2 inch on this one, that's right. Thank you.
Oh, no,
So
more for me.
now our dimension is 1.75 from here to here. Is that right?
Mhm.
So my X from here to here, so half of this would be what?
What are you asking me?
That's right.
75. 75. So it'd be 1.75 divided by 1/2.
It's going to be. Think of it this way, 0.750 divided by 2 is 0.375, right, Josh?
Yeah.
And then 1 divided by 2 is what, 0.5? This is how I do it on the board in my head all the time. So now I have 5, 7, 875, correct?
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking when I do that crap in my head. Because I have to simplify it some way so my brain can do it. Make sense?
Yeah, that's how I do it.
Other than a calculator, that's.
Calculator.
I mean, it's like when my wife says, so something's on sale for $20 and it's 10% off. Or say it's 5% off, that's a better example. So what's the fastest way to figure out what 5% of $20 is? Well, think of it like this. This is a little off the top. So if you've got $20 and you have 10% off,
Maybe $2.
that's $2 off, because you just moved this over here, right? So now 5%, you take your 10% divided by 2.
Shoot, that's only like $1.51.
So it's $1.
That's not a good deal.
But you see how I do the math to get there without even calculating? You can do a lot right here with just this 10%, because if you know what 10% is, if it's 40% off, you multiply by 4.
Yeah, maybe it'd be $60. Oh, yeah. $60.
That's how not normal my brain is. I I think like that all the time. Let's get rid of this one. I'm just trying to help Matt think a little easier. Don't make it hard, especially when you have.
Keep it simple.
So half of 1.75 we said was 8.75. So to get here, I have to do a y of 0.875. So now if we're using a half-inch end mill, and I want the entire cutter off that we're going to touch. Half inch, we'll add 100 thousandths just for safety's sake, right? So let's take this and add 0.6 to it. So 6 and 8 is what? 14. So up here, your y is going to be 1.75. So there's my 14 that he said. Right?
Okay, wait, what?
You got 600. So you keep the 5, keep the 7.
Oh, yeah.
6 is 12,
You're right, you're
14. You carry the 1, so you've got 1.475.
Oh, so you just add those two together?
Yeah.
Because you're taking your half-inch end mill, and then you're adding just a hair for safety's sake,
Yeah.
which is why it's 600 instead of 500.
Not even in a shop would you cut it right to the edge. I mean, you might leave 2 thousandths if you're running like a billion of these, but we're running 1, so let's just keep it simple now.
Right.
I'm just showing you guys how to get a little closer. So now, my y over here is going to be y of 1.475. This goes away. So now, if I'm not moving any farther than I absolutely have to, what's my x going to be over here? So my x right here is this.
Is it gonna be 850, or you could do 950, I guess, if you want to.
Technically, we only have to move half the diameter of the cutter.
Oh,
The
well,
radius of the cutter, so that's 250.
250,
So,
yeah.
350 negative, this is what I used to organize, plus 0.250 positive, this means, negative 0.1, right?
Oh, wow. Oh, yeah.
That makes perfect right.
Does that help you if I do it like that? So make it not look like magic. Because this crap can look like magic, I guarantee it. That's not a knock math, that's a minus 0.100. So now we have that point. So hopefully everybody can tell me instantly what this one is.
Maybe.
And X
Back and one.
yeah. So now I'm going to do, this will be G what?
41. Get small, like, bad, got it.
I don't know
This
how-
one down here, I don't know how you do that like that, man. What's this one down here?
I'm short, so you have to do something good. Oh, that's going to be,
That's still 41, but now you're gonna do your 42 on the other side.
No, because I can't pick up and go over that. I cannot do a Z and a 241. So what am I gonna do at the bottom?
40.
40.
Turn it off.
So now my code is just gonna be, just enough. So now my code is gonna be G, or actually, I messed this all up. I'm gonna do it the same way we've been doing it all semester, otherwise it's right into this crap. So, here's something else we did. So on the second side, I forgot to mention this. That's what it was. So on the second side, usually when we do a second side on the CNC, The first side, Z0 is where?
Oh, yeah, you want to
No,
put it,
Z,
it's on top.
it's on top. The second side, Z0 is,
On the bottom.
because that sets this thickness.
Yep.
You understand? So like,
Okay, so I do my further side.
so our little slot right here is 0.2, right?
Yes.
So here's our little slot, and it's 0.2 deep. Our part's how thick? Total, 0.9. So this is 0.9. So Z0 is down here and not here. What is my Z to cut this slot right here? Keep it simple, Matt. Don't overthink it. You're right, Josh.
Okay.
He
He was
said about
asking
my
you
new
that.
way back.
I wasn't sure if he was asking me or you or just whoever.
He said about half, he said just enough
Yeah,
that I
just
know
enough
what's
there
in
is
his
what I
mind.
was thinking.
Matt. So the whole thing,
Don't overthink it, man, it's,
you're making it too hard.
yeah.
The whole thing is 0.9, right? You both agree?
No.
Fine, it's right here.
Yeah.
It's right there. 0.9? Good with that? So the depth of our hole is what? No, the depth of the hole right here. 200.
Right.
Now I want to know the distance from here to here. How am I going to get it? Five, we would subtract. He said 7 right here.
Yeah.
He was right. He said 7, and then
Well, that, yeah, shut up, because I didn't know.
he said like the first 2 syllables, and I'm like, I know what he meant.
You get how he got it?
You just figure everything off the bottom.
Yeah.
So if I told you to cut the same slot from the top, wow, that was incredible. And we're going to say this is 200,000 feet right here. Z0 is on here. So what would my Z to be to cut my slot? No, not from the top.
He changed where his Z was.
See the Z0 is on top? So how far would it go down? Yeah.
There you go.
So you're saying from here to here is Z minus 200,000. And you're right. Okay, just think of it backwards. Now, if my Z is over here, how do I get up there? Well, you need to know the distance from here to here, literally, just like a print. So how do we figure out that distance if we don't know it? It's a print. How are you gonna measure a print? Doesn't have that dimension on a print. I haven't seen it anywhere. So, look, right here, what's this, Matt? It's your thickness, right? Of the whole part. So if my whole part, because I've already machined the top off, I already facing over this one. So if my part's 900 thousandths tall, and I want to put in a 200,000 slot, how do you do that? Right, so you subtract this from the whole thing, right? Yeah. That's where we got our 700. The whole thing is 900 thousandths. Minus your 200. 700. Just like when I go to face fill this part, remember, Z0 is on the bottom. So what's my Z gonna be for my face melt? No, I said face melt. Forget about the slide. I'm trying to make sure you understand this concept, so we don't need a vice. Well, it would be the first time.
I've been chewed on before.
I didn't mean it like that.
No, I mean, I could just as easily do
I mean, I've hit the wrong buttons and all this at the place before it happened. So, normally, if we're gonna face mill something, so we started on the top. So, Z0 on the top side is right here. Right? On top of my stock. So if I wanna take off, so this is 900, so I'm gonna take off 50 thousandths right here. So I'd have, no, this is an inch right now.
it. We want it down to 900.
And I want it down to 950, or I want it down 50 thousandths.
Sorry.
No, I said it, I actually wrote it up there first, so. You're coming off the top like we always do. So you wanna go down 50 thousandths, what you're gonna type in for your Z. That's just gonna do it, you're gonna cut right across here.
That's what you want, that's what I think.
No, I wanna take off 50 thousandths.
If you go down 50,000, then
It'll be 950, my part's only 900. Take 50 thousandths off both sides.
why don't I take 50,000 off first?
This is what, okay. Let's start.
That part doesn't. I get,
This is 1 inch thick aluminum, okay? My print requires that I have a machined surface on every side. Z0 on sides, this is side 1.
so 100,000.
Z0 is on the top. So I have to take off 100,000 total. So, well,
Well,
then,
that's 200,000 because when you took it over, then you're gonna have to take it off again.
that's why I don't take it all, take half of it.
So take 50,000.
So take 50,000. So, what would my Z be if I were to take off 50,000? Not that much. So what's my Z gonna be?
That way it's just gonna be 0.05. So that times the number is just that would be possible.
No. If your Z0 is up here, you have to go negative and go down. So,
Yes.
Z negative 0.050, right? And I'm trying to show you the difference. You said that, but we were on the bottom when you said that. So, this is side 1, you're on the top. So that takes off 50 thousandths. Now I'm gonna go to side 2. I'm trying to show you the difference, because once it clicks, it clicks. And after that, it's easy. Okay, so here's my block. My Z0 is on the bottom. I want this block to be 950 thousandths tall. So what's my Z on this one?
Look at 2 and go down. You do just negative 0. You're still gonna go down. Should be the same thing as that one. You have negative 0.
So which way is, okay, from where my Z0 is, which way is negative 50? Think about where Z0 is. So Z0 is here, and I do what you're telling me. You want to come Z negative 50 thousandths, you're going to drop 50 thousandths from right here. And you're going to go across. So what's it going to cut? It's gonna cut 50 thousandths below your part. Because Z0 is on the bottom.
I get that, but you're going to flip it over so it's going to have to be at the top.
No, I'm saying this is its position once we flipped it. Because this is what we do. On the first side, you put Z0 on the top. Second side, you always put Z0 on the bottom. Almost always. And don't think of the relationship to the part. It's more of a relationship to your program to where the part is. It's no different than me saying X0, Y0 top or back left-hand corner, or X0, Y0 center, or X0, Y0 back right-hand corner. It's all the same thing. It's just a picture of where you put your values and what they need. The reason it's easier this way is because I want my part to come out perfect 950 every time, right? And this is why I put it on the bottom, because I know the distance from here to where I want my part to be. Actually, I think it should be 900. So I want it to be 900. We have a 950 part right now. That's probably what Josh was talking about. You figured it out already, didn't you?
Well, I figured out what the Z was, but I didn't notice that you had messed up on your
Did that little
950.
boo-boo?
Yeah. I knew
So
it.
it's 950 now, we want to go to 900. Zero's here, okay? So anything from Z0 this way is negative. Anything from Z0 this way is positive. So now you're going to cut right here. You're going to have a 50,000 tall part.
It's just positive 900. So you get your 900.
So how far is it from this line to the top of my part? So now you're going to cut like right in here. Getting closer.
You just said it was 700.
No.
Mhm.
I just said it was this. It's supposed to be here. That's through the top of the part. So, first side. This is 1 inch thick.
No, I get that, I don't, you wouldn't try to do with it though.
No, watch this. Because you learn better this way, I think. So, this is 1 inch thick. It really is. This is the material we're going to make a part of it. It's going to have all these holes, okay? This is a block. So, my Z0 is on top. On the first side, you said take off 50, right? So now I'm going to flip it over, but when I program it, my Z0 is down here. So in relationship to my Z0, where do I need to be to cut my part down 900 thousandths? No, I mean, where do I need to be Z? No, Z is my hand. And I want this to be 900 thousandths tall. What value do I put in for Z? If Z0 is the palm of my hand. Then you're going to cut it like right here. You're going to leave 50 thousandths to your part.
I just took the top off, this is the second side.
I don't care about second side.
What's
That's
it
the
up
first
to
side.
100,000 off?
Uh,
I think 100,000 off. You just said, put up a big 50s, and then you go out positive 50s.
the first side. Z0 is on the top. So we're just going to touch probe off right here. We're going to drop 50 thousandths and come across. It's going to take off 50 thousandths. When I flip it over, Z0 is now down here. So what is my height of my Z to take off the rest of the part and make it 900 thousandths thick? So now you're 50 thousandths too high. You took off 50. It's 900. You still have to print. That's why we program that way.
We already took 50,000 off.
You don't care about what you took off. That's the way I'm teaching you. If he has a block that is 950 when you're done machining it, your block's 975. If you do it my way, what do you think the block's going to be when you're done? Both of them. So, Josh's block is, we'll pick on Josh, we'll say it's
Okay.
we'll say his is 970 when he's done, okay? Your block comes out like it should, and it's 950 when you're done. Or maybe Josh's top started out 20,000 thicker, that happens. So if I put my Z0 on the bottom, and I tell it to go up 900 thousandths, which is what my print says, 900 thousandths for my height, right there, correct? So now, I want both of these parts to be guaranteed with one move 900 thousandths thick. So if I put Z0 on the bottom of the part, which you guys have done before, you did last semester, right? Relatively easy, actually. So if I put my Z0 right here, and I go straight up 900 thousandths from that point, and I face this off, this is gonna be how tall? Why?
Because we're at 950.
After I machined it. After I machined it at 900 thousandths, why is it gonna be 950 tall?
Because it didn't be the other side, you have to face off the other side, you have to face off the other side.
It doesn't,
It doesn't matter.
it doesn't matter what size it is, if you tell it to go above the bottom that far, it's gonna cut it right there. That's what I'm trying to show you here. So if I take his part, that's 970, and I tell it to also go up 900 thousandths from the bottom, when his part is finished, it's gonna come cut right across here, and I told it 900, so from here to the bottom of the part will be 900. As opposed to if you do it off the top. So now we have the same two blocks. You have 970, and you have 950. And you do it off the top. So you want to take 50 thousandths off the top of both of them?
One side, the bottom.
What? I want 900. That's what I want. I want the 900 thousandths.
No, you got split it.
No, I've already done the first side. It's gone.
Yeah, 50,000 of that one and now. I'm gonna take 7,000 off.
So how much is left when you do that?
900.
900 here and 900 here. So, but my way, it doesn't matter if it's 970, 980, 910, 930. So if you program off the bottom, so I've got a block here. This one's an inch. The other side's already been faced off, but it's still an inch. I've got a block here, and this block is 970. And I've got a block here, that actually came out right, and it's 950. So if you start on the bottom, and you go up 950, so I'm going to program, in my program I'll have a Z of 0.900, okay? Now if I said that, and you were on top of the part, if I told you I was 900 thousandths above this part with Z0 on the top, what would I
You
think?
slam right into the device.
No, if I said I was 900 thousandths above this part with Z0 on the top, where would I be? Positive, right? So now if Z0 is toolbox instead of the part, meaning the surface the part set on, like your parallels, and I want to be 900 thousandths tall, but my zero is on the bottom, what do I do? So now this is Z0 instead of the part. Yeah, you come up 900 thousandths, right? You come across. What that'll do is, so we've got three different sizes right here. I program every one of them Z0 off the bottom. So I program this one 900, I program this one 900, and I program this one 900. And then all this variance, I don't care about. It's gonna come out 900 no matter what.
So I don't have to worry about that, right?
If you put it on the bottom, you just program the height of the part from the bottom up.
That was the only one that on the program for the bottom. That one got it easier.
That's
I don't
why
worry about
we
that.
do the first one from the top, just because.
I don't have to add in all the dividends that, I don't make it so hard to do.
So do the first one from the top, and then do the second one from the bottom. That's how I did it.
So this one will be off the top, and this is next one.
Now, however, you have to watch your part, so if you flip your part over, like that part right there, it's got a 250 thousandths wide notch on each side, so your part's gonna drop in by 250 thousandths. So actually, the face of your part will be whatever that step is under the parallels. So you have to go off of a surface that's not gonna change. That's the only thing you have to watch. So, like that part you're looking at right there, this is the side view of my vise. My vise is going like this. Okay, here's my parallels. That part has an awesome unit on it that's machined into it. So when you set it in there, it's going to set like this. And then the rest of these sticking out like this, okay? So this is all part right here. So now your Z0 is actually below your parallels. But that's so easy to deal with, because I told Josh last time he did it, you measure your part, so if my part is shaped like that, it would be shaped like this, correct? Sort of. Follow? So if you measure this height from here to here, and then say it's 980 thousandths. So here's the top face of my part. Put your 980 thousandths on top of your part, from the top, and then do a Z, and then go to your Z offsets, and subtract this number. That's where my Z0 is now. It's right here, right at the bottom of my part. Because I just took off that whole thickness. Hopefully it'll make more sense when you do it.
No, I just wanted to figure out this, little bit of the facility, but I don't have to worry about this side. I don't worry about.
No, you want Z0 to be the very bottom of your part.
Oh, so I just worry about this little thing, which, 0.2.
So no, just measure the whole thing. So after it's machined, take your calipers and measure from here to what you have left. Okay?
Yeah.
Write that on top of your part, the side that's going to be face up, in case you forget with Sharpie, because I don't remember numbers with the dark. And then once you touch off on your top, you take the number you wrote on there and you subtract it in your offsets. You don't even have to do the math. All you got to do is minus blah, 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 enter. Because it does the math for you, right?
We have to make that program. Machine code or something.
Yes. That's what I'm trying to teach you, is how to write your code so you go there. So if you're programmed on the bottom, you think of the part as in you're sitting on this side, and you program all your numbers come from the bottom. So this says -2 at 900 thousandths thick, so that means I'm going to be 700 thousandths thick. Because that's what your plot is. You follow now? Josh, I see you're good.
Yeah, I get the Z0 thing. And I remember doing some of that last semester too, when we'd have to flip parts over. We'd have to adjust for our zeros changing, the Z changes.
Because when you're working in a place like Gardner, it's the best way to do it.
Is it?
Because it takes all the error out of it if you do it. First part off the top, That way you can control how much you take off the top, so that you know you've got enough left to do the next side. And the second side on the bottom, so that your part comes out perfect. You understand why we do that way? Video will come out perfect. So, there's how we start and stop. Here's your code. It'll be on the camera. I'll get somebody that doesn't come here and say something I want to put on YouTube. And then we're going to rid of all of this so I can go ahead.
My computer just died.
Okay. You can go grab a charger.
That's okay.
Right on the beginning.
No, not really. And I did have a question. How do we locate the hole off the center?
I'll help you with yours. if you need. I'll help you with the location. This hole or your hole?
This one. It's the same thing, I just need to know the process.
So, I got you.
Like, how do we find, when we do Y0, X, or X0, Y0?
Let's program this so we don't mix up everybody's brain. And then after you do that, remind me, and I'll show you.
Okay.
Yours is actually worse than this one because your slot's not in the middle.
Right,
You just have to make sure you can reference everything from the center.
right.
So, if I have the right code here. So we have our average in mill, we're getting ready to do our slot. My code says tool change, and it says use tool 4. Now we've got our G0, G20, and all that other stuff that goes behind it. M3, S of, let's do something crazy. 12,000. I don't want that control. Technically, we can't have a comma, so I guess I'm making it. So now we're gonna do, first one was on G54. Now, pay attention, you're gonna get lost. The first one was on G54. So now we're gonna go G55, because that way if you screw up your part, you've already got 2 of the offsets already set from prior. And that way you also don't confuse yourself and forget to change your offsets. Or forget to change them back when you go to the other side. That's why I suggest don't use the same offsets. I send to robotics, after I have to work with them, they don't use the same offsets ever on the same part. They will go 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59 until it's finished. There's one part that they ran that I think had 4 or 5 setups. And every setup's got a different detail, a different offset, okay? So, G55, and you guys said we were going to start right here for G41. So Y of 1.475 or X of negative 1. Or Y of, so X of, what did I say? X of negative 1. And Y of 1.45. So now we go, our height, or our code that tells our machine how tall our tools are. Remember what it is? It's an H, but it's also 2. It's 4, Z of 2.0, because we have to go bigger because our Z0 is on the bottom. If you don't, you will hit something. So, 243. Now we've got to do a mirror move, so we we use a G straight line. G1.
0, 1.
Yep. C of 1.1 with a P rate of 25. This is just moving our Z down. That's all I'm doing. C of 0.9. You guys know how you just get closer and closer. Without giving anybody a heart attack that way. Matt loves it when you run things fast and he thinks it's going to crash into the flight though. We about had a heart attack 3 times on Friday. Like, come on, Matt, time for you to go home. Let's get this done. So, we already discussed our final depth. To make this cut, it's going to be what? Josh probably got a cuts. Here's 0.7. Because between the slot and the bottom of the slot and the bottom of the part, we've got 700 thousandths. In the eighth term coolant on. And at this point, we go. So if I'm in the right spot, what's my next code? A linear move followed by one. G01, G41. Now with that, you need your cutter comp. So that's D4 for the diameter of your cutter. Don't forget your D, it doesn't work right. And then you're going to have an X of negative 0.350 and D rate of 61. This is what I got. I assume that matches what's up there. I'm not going to scroll back that far because I know this part cut right. So then from there, so we made our little cut, we came across. Now we're going to come down. And then we're going to come back over. That's kind of cool, actually. So, we're here. Now we're here. Now we're going to go here. So my next move is a negative y 1.875. These numbers won't match completely because we did the dimensions a little different. The only thing that definitely should match is, this has to match no matter what you do. This is how I tell when people cheat, is if you submit your program and you and Josh have the same random number for y, little funky. Does that make sense? There's too many solutions. There's like an infinite number of solutions to that for you guys to both have the same. I mean, if you help me, that's one thing. Or it matters. So now we have our G40, and we're going to come back over here. So that's X of 0.650 and 9, and G0, G of 2.0, we're at 5. Now we're going to come up. Now we're going to go X of negative 0.650, Y of 1.875. That's to move us back to the starting point to go to the other side and do this move. And at that point, you guys can figure out that that's going to change. Now it looks like he's as confused as maybe a little bit more sense. Yeah. Now to Josh's question. You sure you don't want to get yours?
Huh?
I'll put yours up here.
Oh, I'm not to that point yet.
You guys can tell me what the dimensions of yours are.
I was just wondering how I get to the center of 0 off of the X0, Y0.
So here's why I wanted to wait, because now I can just snip it. Now I can draw it. As long as my snip went this way,
Okay.
not to my laptop. And my snip went on my,
And
it didn't go on my laptop, it's right there. Do what?
nothing.
You're fine, talk good.
No, it wasn't a question. It was just a fun. I just wasn't sure how to find the center of that hole, so I put it in the right spot from the center of the part.
He made it tricky on purpose.
I didn't know I needed to change my zeros.
So,
Just looking at it,
this is the center of my part.
correct.
Oh, it didn't stand it after all. There you go. I can go. The red's actually not that good. So, your zero's here.
Yes.
So I honestly don't care about all these other dimensions.
Okay.
All I'm gonna use them for is for guidance to figure out where I wanna go.
Right.
So, we already know the edges of the slot, because you said they were half.
Correct.
So you got that part, you just wanna know where the center of this hole is. So if you look right here, it says, right, it's dimensioned from the center of this hole, right here, down this way, to the edge of this part, right here.
Correct.
Probably what I would do is, what is this distance right here? We know what that is, right?
No. One there with the squiggly line?
Yes, this one right here.
Oh, it's,
The one outside the one on the outside of the box. I'm talking about from here, I'm talking about from here to this one. Basically that little lip. How long is that little lip?
oh,
Well, it's centered, so it's gonna be the same all the way around. So if
Right.
you don't know, you go, here's that dimension, right?
yeah, that's your outside.
And then
He didn't give anything for the inside that I see.
you may have to put this together with the last one. I think if you put this together with the last one.
You do. It's 2.5 and 1.5 on the inside. So it's okay. These are the two prints. This is to give you all your outside
Yeah,
info.
which is what I need.
This gives you your inside, the 1.5 and 2.5. Is that correct? So that is a.
Oh, wait a minute, though, we already machined the little edge. So all we have to care about is
So all we care about is the outside?
this is a hidden line. He did this to mess with everybody, because you don't technically dimension off the hidden lines.
Right.
So if I know what the outside of this is, okay, then I can take this and divide by 2. So the biggest part, the outside is what? 2 point, it's right here.
2.75.
2.75.
Yep.
So if you divide that by 2, from here to here is,
No? 1.375,000.
yeah, 1 3/8, right?
Yeah, 3/8.
From here to there.
Correct.
So, and you also know that the distance from the outside from edge to, or this is the outside. So what's the inside from edge to edge? That's what I need
The inside from edge to edge, 2.5.
to know. 2.5. So this is 2.5. And now this hole is 2.125 from the small edge to the center of the hole.
Right.
This is, you said 2.75?
The overall outside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now you subtract this from this, and you look at, so I'm gonna do this like this, so mathematically follows.
Yeah, it's a quarter, well,
Yeah, it's a quarter of an inch.
yeah, quarter.
So that's what this is.
Right.
So you can take this add a quarter of an inch, and now you know the distance from this edge to that edge.
Okay,
So if we do that, we've got
okay,
2.125 plus this down here, 0.250, right?
yes,
5732, and that would be from here all the way to this edge.
correct,
Now I know what this edge is, because we already did the match divided by 2, you told me it was 1.375.
right,
So now I subtract this much of this part, and then make all of this go away. So then I'll have the dimension from here to there,
okay,
right? So 1.375,
right, it's 1 inch,
so it should be an inch.
okay.
He did that sort of thing.
Yeah, you'd have to,
Yeah,
I don't want to say too much.
he did that to make sure y'all know printing. So you understand how we got there? Because you're all slots out in the middle, maybe you gotta do some funky math to find your next slot.
Yeah. Yeah, there's no way you do that accidentally.
No,
That's too
that's
much.
intentional.
Yeah.
Justin and I are too smart for you to do that by accident.
Okay.
That doesn't mean I won't do that by accident.
No.
On purpose too, though.
Right, I understand.
I mean, some of those 111 programs I ran, or that I wrote, don't drill holes deep enough. Some of them don't chamfer deep enough.
I can
We,
adjust for that.
huh?
I can adjust for that.
That's the whole plan, though. That's,